Shabbat Shalom, it's Eliah Ben Yaakov, here to do another video. Today's subject is going to be on the Shabbat and the new moon. Reason being because today is actually it's overnight in our normal time. It's October 23rd, but the seventh moon was sighted today, and I seen it. It was the seventh moon. I have been watching it for the past 2 weeks, trying to be obedient in order to follow the instructions of Yahuwah and what He's given us in His Torah. And we say Todah Yahuwah for giving us Torah. Okay, and I'm not here to give a doctrine. There's a lot of people who make videos and talk about what they think the moon is, and there's a lot of people who I agree with and I don't agree with, but it doesn't matter. If they're being obedient, I mean, we can't be against them. But what I'm here to do is just for those who want to know what it actually says in the Evarim, then therefore I am going to give that to you as a Malaki Yahuwah, as a messenger. Okay? As a messenger to the people, to Yahuwah's people, Yasharel, and also to the strangers who are and when I say strangers, I don't mean to call you necessarily just a stranger, like I don't know you, because you're my brethren if you truly believe in the Elohe Yahuwah of Israel, Yasharel. Then you're my brother, okay? But by flesh and blood, I mean to the Negroids who are scattered amongst the world right now today. To all the people who are under the oppression of the modern day systems, I speak to you. We let you know that Yahuwah loves you and His Torah is the truth. Okay, I could try to make up a lot of different things of what I think that the Bible says according to the English translation, but what we're just going to do is look at the majestic beauty of what our ancestors left behind in their Torah. Okay, and we're going to talk about the Shabbat and we're going to talk about the new moon. I seen the first crescent moon 7 evenings ago. Like I say, it's 10/23/2012 in Oklahoma City, in the central of America, and I've seen it. I've been trying to be obedient, and I'm going to share this information. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a couple of scriptures to understand how Yahuwah, through His Torah, through His instruction, has given us an understanding of how and a knowledge of how to be obedient to this Torah, to this instruction, to understand His way that He created this world for us to, to bask in and to enjoy, and to worship Him for making it so perfect. And this is also a way for the world to understand, how to truly keep Shabbat, because some people keep it on the Saturdays and yet know the knowledge of it being Saturn's day and still participate in keeping it. They're not paying attention to the natural cycle of what Yahuwah gave us to give, who gave us to understand. And it's not about worshiping the moon. Like when you see the first crescent, you don't bow down on your knees and worship the moon. You give thanks to Yahuwah for giving you a renewed month, another time period, another period of time for you to get closer to Him, for you to cleanse your iniquities in His Yeshua, which is His salvation, His Torah, His instruction. Okay, so first we're going to go into Bereshit, Genesis. Okay, the second chapter, 2 verse through the 3rd verse. And it starts off by saying, Vayekal Elohim bayom hashevi'i, melakto asher asah, Vayishvoth bayom hashevi'i, mikal melakto asher asah. And again we repeat. It says, Vayekal Elohim bayom hashevi'i, melakto asher asah, Vayishvoth bayom hashevi'i, mikal melakto asher asah. I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to try to go kind of quick, but like I say, we just to get a full understanding of what the words mean and not a doctrine. So instead of me having to read the English and have to do a lot of speaking of what necessarily what I think this word meant, we're just going to say the different broad meanings that the Hebrew provides. The first word, Vayekal, comes from a root word, Kala. Kala means to be complete. It means to come to an end. It means to finish something. Even in our sister language, the Assyrian, it is a word, Kalu, which actually means to cease. which means to vanish. So we see the and, the wav that has been put in the beginning in the yod or the yad, lets us know that it's a continuing narrative. Because prior to this, in the first verse, we know that Yahuwah was saying that he created all things. Okay, it says these are the generations of the heavens and the earth, and when it was created, when Yahuwah created. Okay, and then it goes on by saying Wayekal, and he finished, and it came to an end, and when it came to an end is how it can be translated. But we know that the next word Elohim, this actual imperfective form, is the verb setting the standard of what's about to happen. So the verb and then the subject. The verb was actually, to come to an end, to finish, by who? Elohim, the mighty rulers or the mighty shepherds. Because we know that Yahuwah is not the one who's doing this. He's the one who's declared this. But the Elohim, being the mighty rulers, being plural, we know to be honestly the God bodies of Yahuwah, his main messengers, his main workers, that was shown in the visions of Ezekiel, which we know as the four living creatures. And we're going to get into what the Elohim is. And it goes on to say, Bayom Hashevi'i. On the day is what Bayom means. Ba being the preposition, Ba meaning on, in, Yom indicating a day. Okay, it actually just basically means the period of time when light shines is what it's actually indicating. But in English we say day. So we have Vayekal Elohim Bayom Hashevi'i, which basically he's saying, and Elohim finished, Elohim brought to an end on day 7, but Hashevi'i means the seventh. So we know that is the seventh day. On the seventh day, Elohim brought to an end. What did he bring to an end? We need to know. It goes on to say, Melakto. Melakto comes from the root word Melaka, which means an occupation. It's been translated as work. But see, there's another word, Eved, that actually means work, which indicates a worker or a slave, or even an employee. See, this word, Melaka, it indicates an occupation. It indicates a business, okay, the duties of a worker. So this is actually a word that indicates, your goal for what you're working for. It's your actual job. It doesn't indicate the action of necessarily working, but it means to work according to a purpose, according to something that has been contracted or set out. So he says melakto. So we know that Wayakal Elohim Bayom Hashevi'i, okay, and the mighty rulers brought to an end on the seventh day. This wav at the end of this word actually tries to make it plural, actually trying to say that his, because it's setting it up as if Elohim is actually singular. And it says that because it is in unity, but we know that the mighty powers of Elohim are actual angels themselves. But Yahuwah is the one. That's why it says his, because it's still all credit goes to Yahuwah. But it's his labor, his duty, his property, his occupation, his business, okay, his duties. Asher asa, that were done, okay. Vayekal Elohim Bayum, okay, Hashevi'i Melakto Asher asa, basically means, and the mighty shepherds brought to an end on the seventh day his duties that were done, or to be done. He finished on the seventh day. It continues on to say, Wayishvoth. Wayishvoth comes from a child root word, Shabbat. Okay? Shabbat meaning to cease, to stop. This is what we say is Shabbat. It means to cease. It means to stop. And it has even has a feminine form, Sheveth, which means to sit still. But as we dig a little deeper, understanding Hebrew goes back so much. Now we're going to understand Shabbat and what it is to rest, and it's to sit still. So we know that on this seventh day, because it said he did, we are to cease. Obviously what we're doing by stopping. To stop is a meaning of it and a usage of it. A form of it is Sheveth, where it means to sit still. Okay? We should sit still. It means to compose yourself, to take out time and relax, obviously. Sit still. And as you dig in deeper, there's another root into this word that we're using right now, moshav, which actually indicates a dwelling place. So it's kind of like when you dig into it and he says that he ceased and he stopped, he rested. We're starting to break down to see where Shabbat comes from. But the parent root of this word, Vayishvoth, is actually Yashav, which means to sit down or to remain. So the ground root basis of Shabbat is actually to sit down, to remain somewhere, to remain in one place. But here it says Vayishvoth, and he stopped, he ceased, he sat down. What? Bayom Hashevi'i, on the seventh day. He rested, he stopped. Next, what it says? Mikal Melakto, from all. Because see, Mikal means from, Kal means the entire, the whole, the every. So Mikal means from all of. Melakto, we know, is his duties. Asher Asa, that were to be done. So we see that he sit back and he rested, he relaxed, he sat down on the seventh day. Okay, after doing all of his labors that were to be done. The Elohim did, the mighty powers. Now we're about to get real deep with you. We're going to go into verse 3 and let me show you what it says. It goes, Vayevarek Elohim et Yom HaShevi'i Vayekadesh Oto Kivo Shabbat Mikal Melakto Asher Bara Elohim La'asoth. Once again, Vayevarek Elohim et Yom HaShevi'i Vayekadesh Oto Kivo HaShabbat Mikal Melakto Asher Bara Elohim La'asoth. The first word Vayevarek comes from a root word barak, or barak, meaning to kneel down, meaning to salute, or to congratulate. Now, in its nifal form, which would actually be nivrak, or navarak, nivarak would actually mean to be prospered. But the basic root of barak is to kneel down, to salute. After the mighty powers rested from all of their labors on the seventh day that were to be done, and finished them all in 7 days, and then they, took out some time to rest, they sat down. It says that Vayevarek, and they kneeled down. Now it was translated as blessed, because blessed means to become prosperous, but this form of blessed here actually means to salute. They congratulated. They kneeled down. Okay? Elohim. Vayavarek Elohim, and the mighty shepherds kneeled down. Et Yom HaShevi'i, which is meaning on the seventh day. They kneeled to the seventh day. They congratulated the seventh day. They saluted the seventh day. To who? To Yahuwah, he that be. Ehaya Asher Rahaya is who they kneeled and they gave a salute to. Because this word barak is also used when it means to bless the Lord, to salute Yahuwah, to salute he who made you, he that be. There's another word, asher or ashar, that means to be blessed. It's used in poetical terms because it means to be made happy, but this word means to salute. Elohim saluted the seventh day. Then it goes on to say, Vaye Kadesh. Okay, Kadesh is the root meaning to separate, to be apart, or to be honored. Now, this word has multiple meanings depending on form and usage. It can mean to set apart by exalting a high throne, to be honored by exalting a high throne. It can also mean to separate from impurity. It can mean to be hallowed by contact with a sacred thing. And it can mean to regard something as sacred. Now, when you understand these meanings, you put them all together. It says that they kneeled down and saluted the seventh day, and they made it to be honored. Waye Kadesh, imperfective. So it means they made it to be. They made it to be exalted on a high throne. The high throne of Yahuwah. They made it to be separated from the impurities of the foulness of this world, y'all. Saturn's day, Frigg's day. It don't matter. We don't follow that. We don't set our appointed days on a certain time. Yahuwah gave us a sign. He gave us a mark. And we're going to get into that mark. It means to be hallowed by contact with a sacred thing. On the Shabbat, the ordinances of what we were supposed to do. And we're going to get into those things on the Shabbat. And it's something to regard as sacred. This is what we shall keep as one of the most precious things for us to want to be a part of, is the Shabbat. To keep it holy, as it says in the Devarim. We're going to continue on, understanding that even in the Assyrian language, it means Chadashu, sacred. It goes to say, now we're going to put it all together with the next word, Waye Kadesh Oto. Oto means it. That's basically what it means. It just means it, okay? So he says, Waye Kadesh, he separated it, okay? Ki, indicating time here, means when. The next word, bo, it just means he. So it's saying that when they kneeled down to it and saluted the seventh day, they made it holy. They made it set apart, regarded as sacred. They, consecrated it, is what this really means. They purified it, okay? Waye Kadesh Oto, they purified it, Ki, when he, Bo, Shabbat, rested. They set it apart and they made it to be regarded as sacred when they rested, Kivo. Therefore he rested. Okay? When he rested on this day, Shabbat, he ceased, he stopped, Milakto, from his labors, Asher, Bara. Okay, that word. We know bara from the first sentence of the word Bereshit, Bereshit bara Elohim, same word bara, connected to Asher, that was shaped or fashioned. So he rested from his labors that was shaped by, and Elohim le'asoth. It says to be made. And Elohim rested from the labors that were to be made on the seventh day. He rested and he kneeled down. They kneeled down to it, saluted it, consecrated it, regarded it as sacred the seventh day. Now we must ask ourselves, how do we determine this seventh day? We understand that the Shabbat is a day of rest. It's a day to sit still. It's a day to just obviously, refresh yourself, relax yourself. To relax yourself from all of the stress, to separate yourself from the impurities of what you've been going throughout the week, the impurities of your own self, the impurities of the people around you. Separate yourselves from that. Regard this as sacred, meaning that you're going to keep up with it no matter what, and you're going to study your scripture, and you're going to learn about the Shabbat and what to do. And we're going to talk about, the Levitical standpoints of the Shabbat too, but we're just here. We're like the sons of Adam right now, under the guidance of what Yeshua Ben Yusuf was saying is just that we come to the Most High, because we can't go to the priesthood to do the sacrificial things for the Shabbat. So we're not going to look into those things right now until the temple is built. Right now, we just need to have a connection with the Yahuwah and his original. This is his original covenant of what the Shabbat was, the seventh day. Now we're going to determine, how do we determine the seventh day? We're going to go to Bereshit. We're going to go backwards a little bit to Bereshit, Genesis 1 and 14. 1 and 14 goes, Vayomer Elohim yehi mi'oroth bi'rikia hashemayim lehavdil ba'in hayom ubein hayela. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna start over. Vayom Elohim yehi me'oroth bi'rikia hashemayim lehavdil bein hayom ubein halayela wahayu le'ototh ul muadim ul yamim we shanim. Once more. Vayomer Elohim yehi me'orot bi rekia hashemayim lehavdil bain hayom ubein halayela wahayu le'ototh ul muadim ul yamim we shanim. Starting off first, Vayomer means and he spoke, from the root Amar, which means to speak or to communicate. Okay, who did? Elohim, the mighty rulers. Yehi comes from Haya, but it's a form that means there will be. Okay. Me'oroth is from the root word or, which means to shine or to give light. But see, in this form, it means from the lights of, so therefore it indicates a shining light. Bi rekia, in the expanded surface of. Okay, it's what we know as the universe, the black part, the expanded surface. It says firmament in most of your translations, but it means an expanded surface because it comes from the root raka, meaning to beat or to stamp or to spread. Okay, rikia means expanse in the Hefil form of this word raka. Okay, and it means to cause to be expanded. Okay, so he says be a rekia, in the expanded surface of what? Hashemayim, the skies. Okay, so he says let there be a shining light. There should be a shining light. Vayomer Elohim yehi me'oroth, and spoke Yahuwah Elohim. We're going to put Yahuwah there if we want to, but the Elohim, the mighty power, said yehi me'oroth bi'rekia hashamayim. There should be a shining light. There will be shining lights in the expanded surface of the skies. Shining lights, y'all. He goes on to say, lehavdil, which means to separate or divide. To divide. This is a Hefil form also of badal, which means to separate or divide. And this form means to be a divide or to cause a divide. So he's saying there will be shining lights in the expanded surface of the skies to be a divide that will cause a divide. Bain, meaning between or among. Okay. Then it goes to say Hayom, the day. Ubain, and between. Halayela, which is the night. Halayela. So there will be a shining light. There will be shining light in the expanded surface of the Hashemayim, of the skies. Lehavdil, to become a divide or to cause a divide or separation. Bain, between Hayom, the day. Ubain halayela, the night. Then it goes on to say Uhayu, but they will be. This is from the same word, yehi, same word, is just a different form. The yod and the wa makes it they. Okay, so uhayu, but they will be. Le ototh. This le right here is a preposition meaning for. It's going into the word zoth, which the zayin has been dropped, but it means a sign or a mark. Also, the oath, the aleph, the tau can also mean a sign or a signature. So that's what he's saying, for a sign, for signs. That's why it's othoth, it's plural, signs. Le othoth, for signs. Uhayu leototh, and they will be for signs. Ul moadim, from the root word ya'ad, meaning to appoint. Okay, but in this form it means appointed times, the appointed times, because the ad also means time. It breaks down to that root. Ad actually means time. Okay, to say ya'ad means yod ad, his time, and that would be to appoint. Therefore this form indicates appointed times, the wav meaning and, the lay meaning for, and for appointed times. Ul yamim, and for days. This is a plural form of yom. Yamim, it means days. Ul shanim, from the root word shana, which means to change, indicating the changing or the repeating of something, the repeating of the years, the year, the repeating of times. It also means copy or double in the mishneh form, to copy or to double. So that's what happens, is when the time is to change. So we understand here in 1 and 14 that Yahuwah says that he was going to create two shining lights in the expanded surface of the skies that will cause a divide, or will cause a separation between the day and the night, and they will be for signs, for days, appointed times, and for the years. Now we see he gave us two shining lights to determine. Now we're still trying to figure out how to find the seventh day, because he said to honor the seventh day. Here we see he said that he put two signs in the skies for us to be able to determine how to find the seventh day, for time, appointed times, days, and years. We'll go to Exodus 12 and 2. Exodus 12 and 2, Shemauth. Shemauth goes, Ha chodesh chazeh lakim rosh chadaim rishon hu lakim le chadashe hashana. Ha chodesh hazeh lakim rosh chadaim rishon hu lakim le chadashe hashana. Ha chodesh is from the root word chadash. Okay, the Assyrian form of it is chadashu, which means to repair. This word chadash, the root means to renew, to bring back, to be fresh, to become new. To say ha would mean the, but the form chodesh, okay, is the hofal form, which is actually saying now that it has been renewed. It's indicating something that is renewed. And here we know in this part, Moshe is pointing out to them, because they're escaping away from the Pharaoh. He's pointing out to something to him, and he starts off by saying, Ha Chodesh, this renewed moon. Chodesh means renewed moon. He says, Ha Chodesh Hazeh. Hazeh means this. So these double ha's that has been added to this Ha Chodesh Hazeh means this renewed moon. He's pointing it out to you. This right here. This is imagining him just pointing to the sky. This renewed moon, Ha Chodesh Hazeh. This is what it says. I'm not making it up, because the root of the word Chodesh means to be renewed, to bring something freshly, not to cover something. Lakim, to you. He says, Lakim Rosh, to you, head, Hadashim, of renewed moons. So he says this first appearance of the moon, this is the first appearance of the light, of the Ma'oth, the Me'oroth, the first appearance of the Me'oroth would be the beginning of the month for you. It shall be the head of your months. And the first, Rishon, the first of, who? Okay, it is first of Lakim. Okay, Rishon hu Lakim, it is first of to you, because hu means it is, Lakim to you. Rishon is a form of Rosh, which means first of. So he says, Rishon hu Lakim, It is to you. It is first of to you. What? Le Chadashe, for the renewal of, coming from Chadesh or Chadash, which means to renew. So this word Le Chadeshe, Le Chadashe, means for the renewal of. It's a plural of form, an imperfective. What he says, Hashanah, this word Shana, like we said earlier, means the year. So here we see in the Hebrew, the Yahuwah, in the Avarim, gave us an instruction of how to count our times. Today being 10:23 now, but being the Shevi'i, the seventh evening, Ha'erev Shevi'i, the evening of the seventh, since the crescent moon has been revealed. And like I say, even as kids, we learned that there are 4 quarters in the moon. I looked at the moon today, and there is a quarter moon. Check back on the time if you don't believe me. I'm pretty sure that most, I have actually an app on my phone too. And I had to check it to see if it was correct. And this month, they were actually correct. The quarter moon, the 4 divides of the moon, which would make it 28 days, and an occasional 29, that there'd be 2 days in between. There was 29 days last month. In the morning times when I was taking my wife to work, I would see the moon in the eastern sky. Early in the morning, about 6 or 7 o'clock, the Most High would always make me look. I would notice it. Because he told me, because I've been praying, and he showed to me, like, I'm finna show you how to keep up with this. And I started noticing it, where it would be at when it's time for the month to end. And I noticed it in the eastern sky around about 6:30 in the morning when it was still dark, pretty bright outside. Stars was everywhere, but I seen it, and it was very thin. And then it disappeared for almost 2 days. And it appeared last Monday evening when I was at my job. I looked outside, and there it was. Beautiful situation, ladies and gentlemen. So, what we're going to do is just say Todah Yahuwah once again. Thank you for tuning in to the Shabbat. I'm going to do another video speaking on the appointed times as far as in when is the first month. We're going to do videos on how basically to try to keep Shabbat in the most honest way we can without there being a temple. What things we can do and what things we cannot do. But to do them all in truth and spirit. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for paying attention. And I hope you learned something.